Okay, so not the topic that you're expecting, but I need you to understand that whatever topics I mention is because nobody tells you about these things unless you experience them and then you are kind of like, oh crap. So anyway, before I continue, I wanted to remind you that down below is my email in case that you want to help me out by sending an Amazon gift card. So thank you very much. I really appreciate that one. So now I'm going to tell you um, that you probably want to consider um, getting a space in your kitchen to, you know, how to put it? You know how you always throw away containers that are small, like this cup, right? You know, containers that, I don't know, they might contain like a cereal or something, and then they come with a lid, and then you always throw them away, right? Because when you're buying something, you throw them away. That's what you do. So here's the deal. You don't want to do that for the next 20 small ones and 20 medium one sizes. And you're like, what? Why would I do that? Well, here's the deal. You remember how, I don't know if you have heard, because, maybe you are not too old like me, or maybe you are, not used to the idea of hearing stories from your grandmother or whatever. But long time ago, neighbors, when they were in trouble, they knock on your door and they say something like, "Hi, can I have some sugar, please?" Yes, actually, it was an icebreaker so that you could meet, people, and some people will bring you things on certain containers, and then you were supposed to, deliver the containers back. Yeah, kind of like that. So people are going to do that, but they are going to do it with their containers, and then you're going to be on the spot. So let me explain this. So let's say that you have a sister and she's coming to your house because she has no sugar. Because, getting sugar takes a week for you to try to get it, if you can get it, on the supermarket. And maybe you will have to fight for it, and maybe you don't even have sugar because there hasn't been any on the market for at least 3 months. So, oh crap, nobody has sugar. So your sister comes to your house, and then she brings her container, which, is not going to be the size of a cup. Her container is going to be one of those things that is like a quart, like a huge thing, like a liter thing. And then she's going to be like, "Yeah, will you give me some sugar?" And then she will pass her container to you. Now, if you're like most people, you are like, "Oh crap, I can't give her just a cup. It's going to be too little." Yes, it is going to be too little in that, huge container that she has. By the way, this is markers because I was working on this thing right now. So anyway, the point is that you are going to feel bad, so you are going to fill up the whole container for her. And it is going to be like that with your neighbor, with your friends, and whoever comes knocking on the door, that they are asking for food or for something specific like sugar, oil. Mostly people will be, asking for the following: toilet paper, that is a big one. And then, of course, it is big one because, most people do not think about getting a lot of toilet paper. And when you have emergencies and when you're at home, you're spending twice the toilet paper that you used to use before. So people will ask for sugar, coffee, milk, oil, butter, and, kind of like in that order. But mostly they will ask also for flour and for whatever you have already prepared for spared. So let me explain this. Some people will knock on your door and they will actually be like, "I will do your garden and then you can give me, some food that you have cooked. Whatever leftovers you have, I will take." And then you're kind of like, right. And then there will be people that will bring children, and the children might be looking malnourished, or hell, they can even be naked. And then you're kind of like, I'm sorry, but it's just that you don't know what the hell to do. So if they bring their containers, you're going to feel horrible, and you're going to fill up their containers, and then you are going to be in trouble. And not only that, but if they don't have a container, and they will expect you to provide the container. But here's the deal. If you used to have Tupperwares or whatever, you're not getting those back, because those are plastic and now they're expensive. And not only that, but they might not be able to find them anymore. And the reason for that is because most people now do not focus on buying anything that is plastic, so most people will stop carrying them. It's kind of like when you have a supermarket, and then you have, toys, and you have blankets, and you have a lot of things, and none of those things are selling, and they are taking too much space. So you are trying to get rid of them. So you kind of increase the price, whatever, with inflation or whatever. But if you have the chance to rebuy them, you don't, because you know that you won't sell them. So you will get whatever the hell sells fast. This will affect a lot of things. And that will include, plastic containers, because if you don't have money to buy, food or whatever, then of course you don't have money to buy plastic containers, can openers, or whatever, you're just not getting that, period. So if you have those, you could try to trade them, but it could take a while, because most people are not going to be interested in those things. Or you can just give them up, which is, by the way, what very likely will happen. Because if you, like I said, you are giving this, container to your sister, and it is your favorite freaking container, you better be ready to part with it. You're not getting it back. I'm sorry, but you're not. Unless you specify something like, sugar, sweetie? Yeah, I will give you the sugar, but you gotta bring me the container bag. And then there is a problem that when she comes back with the container that is empty, she might say something like, oh, by the way, I used all of the sugar. Do you have any milk? And then you're kind of like, what? So if that person comes back to return the container, they will be asking for more from you. So hell no. What you do is you take like your cup, which, this thing is, I don't know, it's a cornflakes thing, package. It has a lid. So you fill it up, and then you say, yeah, take it. Because it is small, you are handling the quantity, and you're handling the lid, and you're willing to part with it. And then you're like, yeah, well, I'm just going to give them the containers. Yeah, try doing this, at least once a week. That is 52 containers per year, if you do this once a week. So do you have, how many containers do you have? That's why you want to save 20 and 20. Because you're probably going to be doing like these, probably once a week, maybe 10 days or something. So on average, you need about 40. And you want it to be small and medium. And the medium will be like you're helping someone, and then, you're giving them like a hot soup or something, and then you just put it there. And then you're like, okay, here you go, some food, and, you can go home, wherever, and you can help them without having you to worry about the amount that you're filling up. And also, you're not worrying about the container. And you are helping without, feeling bad, and without having the other person controlling the amount and the things that you're giving them up. Now, you're also thinking, yeah, I'm going to do that, whatever. So here is something that you actually want to do as well. Maybe, just maybe. If you like butter and, spreads, like sandwich spread, or, butter that has a special flavor with like a pepper or parsley or whatever, here is what you might want to think about doing. You might want to think about buying containers that can be frozen, that you really, really, really like, and then you put butter to melt a little bit, okay? Not entirely, just a little bit. Then you add oil, or olive oil or vegetable oil or corn oil. I usually, we do this with corn oil, and sometimes olive oil a little bit, and then you melt it, and you kind of like make like the butter thing. But here's the deal: you can break it into 5 pieces, whatever the amount you have, and then you put one with parsley, you mix them up. Then the other one with basil, you mix them up. Then you put the other one with garlic, and then you mix them up. And then one with peppers or whatever you like. And then you put like each container, and then you kind of label them nice with something that you really, really like, and then you freeze them. And this will help you get through bad times, in the sense that you really, really, really want to try, because you're not going to be able to do it all the time, but you want to try to keep things as much normal as possible. So let me explain this. When you have butter and you haven't eaten butter in a long time, when you have butter, you are going to spend it all in one sitting, very likely. In fact, if you have kids or teens, they will be like, Mom, you serve it to me, because if I do it, I will spend it all right now. And that's going to happen with every single thing that you have. So you are going to spend all of that in one sitting, and then you're not going to have butter anymore. And butter is something that you can use for cooking. For example, when you're cooking, or the rice, or when you are doing the bread, or you are doing eggs and so forth. So if you froze them, you're not going to use the same amount, and at the same time, this will help you having a sense of normalcy. You can know how much oil it has, so it's like you have control of the ingredients, and you have control of the flavor, and you can use it, and then once you freeze it, and then you use it, you cannot refreeze it, or you shouldn't. That means that, for example, this week we are going to use basil. So this week we are all using basil butter in this house, and everybody is going to be happy. But at the same time, as soon as you put it in the table, it will last you a little bit longer than if it was just butter, because you already bought the butter and it was just 1, but now you make it into 5. And not only that, but you're controlling the flavor, which means that it is more special. And that's why you want nice containers, and that way you will feel that things are sort of normal. Because if you don't try to have like things like you eating on the table with with the fork, the knife, and the napkins, and the things that kind of make you human, you're going to lose them. Because quite frankly, when you're stressed, mostly men will do this, they're going to go back to normal as soon as possible, meaning they will go for practicality. And if they go for practicality, that means, sleeping in a tent in the middle of nowhere. That will be okay. That's why men are trained to do that, They don't care so much if you have to sleep in a tent and you will be, beaten by mosquitoes, and the tent is small and you're hot or you're cold or whatever. And so, you really want to try to make things look as normal as possible, and as human as possible, and as educated as possible, okay? If you manage to do this, you can kind of have a sense of pride, and you will be okay. I hope. So I hope this was helpful. So thank you.